the services in their churches. And here from EdCat TV, we are wishing all our youth well tomorrow as they mark their Youth Sunday. And it has been a pleasure doing this to end this conversation on Youth Week tonight. My guest, wow, what a guest this evening. She's one of the youngest ministers that we have in the PCEA church, and she's going to tell us how it feels. And it's none other than Reverend Eva Wamwenja.
East is doing great.
Yes.
We thank God. So far, so good. We have seen the hand of God, the serving with the people. They are beautiful souls, and we really glorify the name of the Lord. I can't choose a better parish.
Wow, amen to that.
Amen.
Taking you back, was it some 1 month ago at Kemore Church of the Torch?
Yes.
I remember I was there to witness you being handed that torch, yes, as one of the youngest ministers. How does it feel?
It was a very, very good moment, actually, and a surprise to me, actually, because we didn't expect that to be done. But the moment the Kimori was handed over to us, it felt, it comes with pride and mixed feelings at the same time. The pride that you feel good, you're serving God, and this baton has been handed over to you. And at the same time, it comes as a responsibility on your shoulders. Because when the moderator of the General Assembly hands over such to you, it means that now you are out there to serve. And the fire must not go out in your arms. So it's a huge responsibility. It was actually a point of feeling shaken. You know, it's the mixed feelings of feeling happy, shaken, and all the same. But all in all, we are asking God that even as we hand it over to the next generation, because we have younger ministers who are being ordained during this season, and as we hand it over to them, may we hand it over to them the same way the moderator did, as it was lighting, you know, bright and beautiful. May we do so, and especially in terms of service. So it was beautiful, and at the same time, a huge responsibility on our shoulders.
So you have to be more careful. You've got to be a role model. I mean, there's a lot that is expected from you.
Exactly. You know, all eyes are on you.
Oh yeah, that's the one. All eyes on you.
This is a youthful minister. We are a few. We are not so many. We are a few youthful ministers, and so it feels like you know, they want to see how you're serving. They want to see how you carry out yourself. They want to see how you handle issues. So you must represent the youth, because we want the youth to be seen. Actually, we want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be felt. And for us to be felt, again, it's not only by our words, but how are our actions defining who we are, as we present ourselves out there, as we ask for spaces, as we do all that, how are we doing it? And now with the moderator giving us such a huge responsibility, again, it calls for more prayers, more on our knees, and God does his thing.
The grace is sufficient.
It is sufficient.
If there's something that I know is that the young people are very proud of you.
They are.
I remember when that happened at the Church of the Torch, and then that was shared online. I saw someone shared it on some pages online, and people are like, "This warrior one, this is the way to go. We want more of this." So it's I just want to concur with what you're saying. The young people, they also want to be in this space. Are we giving them the opportunity to be? That's the question. Elephant in the room.
Exactly. And when we give them, how do they do it? Because again, you know, you are, let me put it this way. You're like a specimen in a laboratory. You know, people are doing tests to see. And you know, previously, yes, there have been ministers who are ordained actually at our age or even younger than us, and they've done well. So at least we have people to emulate at the same time. There is that confidence of feeling when the church is ordaining young ministers, they are not losing it. You know, it's not that they're just ordaining ministers for the sake of it, because young people have so much to offer to the church. Remember, God, by God's grace, we will serve more years. By God's grace, we are more exposed. By God's grace, we will be so careful, and that is why being given the baton at the same time to the youthful ministers, it calls for us to stand out more and become more responsible, to serve with the zeal that we are talking about, and also with the fear of God and holiness. As we pursue that, exactly. So as we pursue that, we have a long way to go, of which I feel that the more we are ordaining young ministers and elders, by the way, the more we are ordaining young ministers and elders, we are not moving in the wrong direction. We are giving the church to the right people.
Wow, I like that. We are giving the church to the right people.
Exactly.
There she goes, my guest, Reverend Eva Wambwenja, Rocho East Parish, Kehumbune Presbytery. And this evening we are having a conversation on money, pesa, besha. Rev, do the young people need money as you help us define what money is?
Hey.
Ama they are still being sponsored by their parents.
Hey. Who doesn't need money?
I know.
If I may ask, who doesn't need money?
But they're not paying rent, they're not buying food at some point. Some of them are on scholarships, man. Why do they need the cash?
No. Nobody. Actually, there is no one who doesn't need money. And if there is anyone, let them come out, they tell us. Because I don't know why we are having the hustles and bustles and everywhere. People are running up and down. Nairobi is ever full. 24/7, people are running up and down. Are they running? They wouldn't be running if were it not for money. So let me say that money is a very useful commodity to everyone's life. And also, regardless of whether they are kids, you see kids even in church, they're coming for 10 shillings, 5 shillings. Why do they want that? It's not for offertory. They have been given money for offertory. They have given their offertory, but later on they're coming. Mama, I need 10 shillings. Nataka 5 bob, They want these small monies. Why do they want that? They want to go feel they have purchased something and they've done it. You see, they want to do that. So even to the young people, one thing I know is that they also need money for their upkeep. They need money to do their own things. Nowadays they are doing even content. They are earning money. So I feel everybody needs money. And it is a very, very important commodity that when it lacks, distraction can come in. When it lacks, there are so many things that can come in. You will find jobs to earn. You will find many ways to earn. And unfortunately, it's leading also other people to, to various directions that are not good. People are becoming defiant and people are becoming deviant because of that. So at the same time, money is good, money is bad, but money is good, I would say that, if used in the right manner.
So how does it influence the decisions our young people make? How does the aspect of money being there influence the kind of decisions that we see the youth making?
Good question, Wanjiko, because I would say when people want money in their pockets, they will make decisions on how to get that money. And in a Christian context, what comes into my mind is if you are genuine as a young man or a woman, because we are looking at the young people, you will look for jobs to find that money. But at the same time, if you are not genuine and if you are not honest, again, you will lead to ways that will get you money that are not honest ways. And unfortunately, we are having so many hackings in our phones today.
Very true.
You're just seated there and within no time a message comes in, your M-Pesa, you've sent some money to so-and-so, and you're wondering. And unfortunately, whenever these cases come to our televisions, and whenever these cases land to our news, who are arrested? Young people. Young people because, again, because of the scarcity of jobs that we're experiencing today. So decisions that people make to bring money in their pockets, they either build them or break them. And especially to our young people, I would urge them, actually I would really hope that they make the right decisions, because as young as they are, we don't want to see them in jails. There's a program that comes, and when you hear somebody, I am 17 years, and you're wondering, I'm serving 40 years in prison, and you're wondering, that those are 40 years wasted. 40 years is such a long time that you have utilized in your life. So the decision that they have made then influence their tomorrow, influence their next course of action, they influence their next definition of freedom. So at the same time, the decisions they are making because of money needs to be guided by the Holy Spirit.
Wow, talking of the decisions they are making, even as we talk of them being guided by the Holy Spirit, are they also being guided in the right way from where they're coming from home? Because I believe I, as a parent, I'm the one who should take the first initiative. When I give my girl 20 shillings, I should guide her. This is not for buying this. This is not for buying this. 10 bob you save, 5 bob you buy. Are they getting that proper guidance right from home before we start saying, they're not using it in the right way.
So yes and no. Yes, why? There are parents today who have piggy banks, and by the way,
We all did when we were growing up.
They have piggy banks, you know. And I also appreciate the banks who have these kids accounts, you know, because we are cultivating a culture of saving. You see, when kids do something in the house and they know, like I have a nephew who knows that whenever he rises on Saturday, you know, from Monday to Friday, he's being assisted, but he knows on Saturday, whenever he makes his bed, whenever he cleans the bedroom, whenever he does his shoes, he washes his uniform, he knows there's something.
Whoa.
And whatever he's given, the 50 shillings that he's appreciated with, he always takes the money to the piggy bank. And so at some point you ask him, what are you saving towards? He will tell you what he's saving towards, because you are cultivating a culture of saving, because kids need to understand that all money is not to be spent.
Oh, true.
It's not to be spent on candy. It's not to be spent on, you know, gaming and these games that they are playing. And especially even the young people. You know, you get money and they're looking forward to betting, you know. They're getting small money. They're looking at how they can multiply this. How? Through betting. They're looking at how they can multiply this money through very, you know, fast ways, these karatas they play around within the area. So I think the nurturing is being done, yes, and at some point it's not being done. Because at some point, bringing up these young men and women, some parents thought money is to be hidden. You know, like
under a blanket.
You shouldn't be seen with a coin.
Very
you know,
true.
you shouldn't be seen with a coin in your arms, you know, like even having 50 shillings, you're hiding. Even when your auntie visits and, you know, they leave you with like 100 shillings, you're hiding from your mom so they can't see. But today, I'm seeing parents who are even nurturing their kids in such a way that you visit them, you give the baby like 100 bob and they're like, Mom, I've been given 100 shillings, let me put in my piggy bank. And you think when that child grows up, they will grow up with a culture, a saving culture, and a culture of finding everything and saving it other than spending. Because today, people are thinking about spending. The social media has taught them how to spend.
Very true.
The social media calls for image. What is image? Image is expensive.
Very true.
Very expensive. So when image is expensive, then they just spend. So whenever they ask for money, it's that kuna bash, you know, there's a gig somewhere, there's a road trip somewhere. So they're always spending. So yes and no, and I hope more of it is a yes, because that is what we need to do. We need to impact a saving culture to our young men, to our children from the upbringing. Yeah, the Bible says, teach the child the ways of the Lord, and they will never depart from it.
True.
So if we teach them, they will never depart. But if we don't show them, then we shouldn't blame ourselves where they end up.
Talking of hiding, someone was making a joke.
Yeah.
How even when we are giving our offering in church, you want to fold it and you want to put it like, come on, a feature.
Yes.
So I think it also starts with us as a parent,
Exactly.
and then it's getting down to our children.
Yes.
And also you mentioned something, we also need to teach them process. You've talked of betting, quick money, they want fast money.
Yes.
But are we training them, are we teaching them about process, like good things take time, like you want a million, you can't get it in an instant. You need to have work for some time, you need to follow process. Are we instilling that?
I think that's a problem that we have currently, because for one, we have treated money as a god, small g. We have treated it as an idol. And when we have treated money as an idol, it's because I am defining somebody through their net worth. And that has come to create cliques amongst our young men and women. Because if you come from a home whereby you can't afford to put something in your pocket, or wherever we go out there, you're not able to, you know, to chip in whatever we are doing, you know, they behave in a pool. The youths work in a clique.
Very true, yes.
You know, we are there. They work in a clique.
They work better when they are together.
When they are together. So when they are together, you see the groups are defined by different issues. And one of them is, how well are you able to give us what we are asking for? How well are you able to do what we are doing? So they don't understand the process that for you to reach to where their parents are, and especially those parents who will be able to dash some amount whenever it's asked for, they do not understand. They only think about now and now. They don't think about tomorrow. So what happens? They think that things are instant. They think of instant because they have been brought up in this instant era, you know, the instant coffee, the instant shower, you know, everything is instant. Noodles, instant.
Oh,
you know,
instant coffee.
meals, you know, yes. They are brought up in an era of instant. And so whenever we have lost the identity, we lose the process. Because they don't understand that for you to get here, it has taken miles. That for you to get to the managerial position that you're in, earning some good money, it was a process. For you to acquire that house you have, it was a process of saving. It was a process of earning. It was a process. So unfortunately, we have not taught the process. We have not. And the parents have tried, by the way. I need to echo that. Parents have tried, but the social media and the technology era we are living in has distorted the teachings that we have given our people. It has distorted completely because they want to idolize people.
I know.
You know, the influencers.
Who is doing what? Who is driving what? The trends. I think something that is really messing the young people, it's the trends.
Exactly.
Something is trending today, something else is trending tomorrow.
The
other day, something else is trending.
Yes.
And they want to be part of what is trending.
Exactly. They want to be part of what is trending. You know, a new hotel has just shown up in the internet.
You want to go there and dine and do coffee there.
And you want to be the first one to do this TikTok in that restaurant.
I know.
You know,
and take a photo with your cup of...
And you want to say at some place, you know. You want to tag that place. And at the end of the day, what does it do? What does that do to our young men and women? And especially those who do not even have the ability to do so. And I want to take you back to those who do not even have smartphones in our churches. And what does it do to them? For them who are, you're talking about something there and they can't relate. They can't relate to what you're talking about because they just got used to things are instant and they are this other group of people. So equality has become a thing of the past. Equality, somehow we have lost it. Why? Because of the same thing. Wanting things chap, wanting things faster. So unfortunately, that's where we are at.
Oh, and it's not a safe space to be.
It's not. It's not. It's draining. It's draining. It's a point of isolation. It's a point of seclusion. You know, and unfortunately, it affects our young people. Those who feel they don't belong. What happens to them? Even as they go home, they feel they don't belong. They feel they are, even when the parent is trying to encourage them, they will feel like, you're just saying this because you're my mother. I know. You're just saying this because you're my father. So you're just trying to motivate me. But when I go to my peers, I don't belong. Why? Because we have this definition of ubabi,
how to dress, the kind of shoes, how to look like so and so.
How to look like, how much money are we going to give on Sunday, you know, all that. And it is because the grassroots, we have not taught them that it is a step at a time. We are not blessed equally. We do not come from the same families. Some of our families are coming, you know, some of us are coming from very humble backgrounds. Some of us are coming from very able families. And so what your mother can give, what your parent, what your guardian can give is not what I can give. So at the end of the day, I think it comes from the grassroots. Have we sought the equity and the understanding of how money operates?
And I also think that is one of the causes of the mental sicknesses and illnesses that we have. Because if I don't do like my friends are doing, I get depressed. Yes. I get anxiety. I get sad.
Yeah, what you mentioned before, you mentioned about this these hustling things that the youths are doing and the rise of that hustling culture. And you've touched on a very, very important area about the mental wellness. And you know what money has driven us to is the hustle culture. That is where money has driven the young people. And what is hustle culture doing? If you are not winning, you are failing. And what is the definition of winning? The definition of winning is I am doing a good job right now. I am working in a glamorous position. I am doing this and this and this. And you know, the employment status of those days, our parents' days, is not whatever we are seeing today. The economic position has gone higher compared to today. Again, our finances cannot be compared to how they were then. So today, the same job entry level I would go today is not the same job entry level my parents got into. So as we are speaking about mental wellness, comparison has come in. I went to school with Wanjiko. Today she's driving a bigger car than I am. So I feel I have failed. So what will I do? I'm going to recede. You know, I'm going to go back and think what did I do wrong? Where did I mess up? you know. And then as you're asking yourself those questions and you're feeling the pressure to perform, you slowly and slowly slip into depression. You slowly and slowly slip into, you know, lack of self-worth.
Rev, you just brought up the issue of being a hustler. Who is a hustler? And I remember our president saying that we are a hustling country.
Yes.
So please help us understand if some of us are still there in that hustling lot.
A very, very, very interesting question. Because today in Kenya, everyone is a hustler.
Even our ministers.
Yes, even our ministers are hustlers. You know, you're hustling because the president brought about the notion of the hustler nation.
Very
you know, when he said we are a hustler nation, he's the president of hustlers. And so the hustling came in. So people always tell you, oh, I'm hustling in Nairobi, I'm hustling, you know. Hustling is a definition that has been brought about. But I think generally, it would mean looking for money or working for money. At the end of the day, we are working for money. So hustling is actually the act, whether it's unemployment, whether it's self-employment, whether it's service production, whatever it is that we are doing to earn, I would call that the hustling. But generally, it's a term that we can't, it's a term that we have embraced. But should we really?
No.
Should we really embrace the question?
The question. That's a big question.
That's a big question. Should we really embrace it? That is the question I'm asking myself, because I don't like terming myself as a hustler.
Me too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. At least we are reading.
That makes the two of us.
Yes. Because it brings about an issue of chaos. Because it's a rapid way of working, you know. It's a push and pull kind of a thing. It's like you're scrambling for something. It's like you're fighting, you know. It's like your life depends on it. It's like you know, it's like oxygen.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. It's a fight. We are struggling for. It's like you're scrambling for bread, which
it shouldn't be the case.
Exactly, it shouldn't be the case. So I wouldn't want to adopt that necessarily a hustling kind of a way, and especially to our young people, because at the end of the day, what is the effect to their minds? What is the effect to their understanding? What is the effect to that? Because when they think of a hustler, they think of a scramble, of struggle, of a fight. You know, it is you know, in an eat man society. You know. And that is where they end up being. So a hustler, yes, the president called it like so, but I wouldn't want to define that, and especially in our Christian context. Yes.
So what is the alternative of hustling? We'll get back to that after a short break.
All right.
My guest this evening, Reverend Eva Wamwenja. Yes, all the way from Rocho East Parish. That is in Keumbine Presbytery. We take a very short break. We'll be back. We're having a conversation on money matters. Hustler. But we are saying, well, before the end of this show, utajua paliko, Wanarika, this is your program. Please share this. Let many of us join in so that we can plug into this conversation. You're watching CAT TV. I'm your host, Wanchiko Kamau. We take a short break. Don't worry.
We welcome your feedback on our programming. For questions or comments, kindly get in touch with us via email info@cactv.org, SMS 011 220044, or call us on 0794 588 054.
Welcome to Mono Safaris, Tours and Travel, where you discover hidden gems with our exclusive low-season tours. Escape the crowds and experience the beauty of travel during the enchanting low season. We invite you to uncover unique destinations at unbeatable prices. Adventure awaits with Mono Safaris, Tours and Travel. Embrace the extraordinary during the low season. For more information, visit our website www.monosafaris.com or call us at 11504807 or email info@monosafaris.com. Mono Safaris, Tours and Travel. We are because we love what we do.
Welcome back. The conversation continues here at CAC TV this evening as we talk on money matters, hustle, and purpose. And my guest tonight, Rev. Eva Wamwenja, all the way from Rocho East Parish, just to come and explain this topic to you, our young people. Rev, we just talk about hustling and we're like, it's not the way to go. So how does working hard look like for a young person?
Hustling to make a time. Because, you know, when we are talking about hustling, we are surviving.
I know.
And you know,
we are surviving.
In God's kingdom, we are living. We are not surviving.
I like that. We are living.
Yes. So for a hustler, you are surviving. You know, it's kind of a hand-to-mouth kind of an affair. But on the other hand, God talks about life in abundance.
Oh, yeah.
So we live. When he says that he came so that we may have life and have it in abundance, it is that we live and enjoy life. You know, we are living in a godly way. We are living a purposeful life. And that is what we are talking about. So we are not hustlers, but living in accordance to God's way. So what does it mean? If we are living, what does it mean then? How are we going to live as we serve? And what does it mean to work hard? You know, gone are the days when you are told to work hard.
Working hard.
Because working
hard. We told you need to work hard. And you don't look forward to working hard.
Yeah, and it was a good thing because it was then, it was a season that has faded. We need to embrace seasons. We need to embrace eras. And when an era ends and a new era comes in, we need to embrace the new era. So when we were working hard, we had big pieces of land.
I know.
We would till land.
And cows, you'd
milk cows. And you would be so proud at the end of the day you have done like a whole gunia of potatoes, a whole sack. At the end of the day you would have been so happy you have watered half an acre of danias and what have you. But gone are those days. Today, people are living in a 40 by 80 piece of land.
Very true.
Is it the house or is it farming? It's the house. The house there, the small compound that is there. How are we going to work hard in that small compound? So the definition of working hard again
has changed.
It has changed to working smart. By then, there was no content.
I know. Very true.
No.
Just come the other day.
There was no content.
Very true.
Today, people are earning when they are seated at home.
Very true.
You know, you would think somebody is wasting their time. And you know, a long time ago, being in the house is wasting time.
You're an idler. My friend say you're a mother. A job.
But they expect vita jioni. You know, you can expect your parents is going to fight you in the evening because you've spent the day in the house. But today, how many houses are equipped with Wi-Fi? How many houses are equipped with backup for electricity? How many houses today have an office desk?
Very true.
How many houses are equipped with the same and with laptops, tablets, and what have you? Why are they there? Because today, working hard has changed into working smart. And the working smart today has changed again because of tech. Tech has brought about changes. So for our young men and women, today we are using more brain than muscle.
Energy.
Yes. It's not about the muscle now. It's about how smart are you. And smart in an innovative way, positive innovation. Because again, we talked previously of bad innovations that have led our young people into spaces that we can't imagine. So today, working smart is that people are earning at the back of their laptops. You know, people are just doing walks. You find people just doing walks. The whole day they have been in the house, seated, working. You know, they're doing online jobs. They are doing, you know, there's so much to do online. There's academic writing. You know, there's so much that the young people can do that looked like idly to our parents. And even today, it has taken a while for our parents to understand and to accept that somebody can be in the house the whole day.
And you're working.
And they're earning. And even they're earning better than...
Actually, the new norm now is working from home.
Working from home.
Very true.
Working from home. Because tech has allowed that. Gone are the days when the phones were just a few and they were button phones. Today, you're getting a phone that can enable you even to work. The phone is an office by itself. You know. The phone is an office by itself. So, and we need to embrace that, Wanjiko. We need to. We need to embrace that because working smart now is here with us and we need to embrace it. The sooner, the better. If we don't, we will lose our young men and women. Gone are the days where we used to sing in front there with papers and books, you know.
That's a gone case now. I mean, you appear there with them, like, where are you coming from?
Where are you coming with papers?
Why do we have
like a notebook there folded with some glasses, and you know, oh, why are we there? But today, in a matter of minutes, which song are we singing? You know, and our young people are there standing with their phones. Gone are the days.
We were actually having a conversation on that. I think, was it yesterday or the day before? We were saying that the liturgy now needs to be, I mean, the book, you're with your book,
Yes.
uko mazishi, napata mchanga. We don't need to go digital even in some of these things.
Yes.
The books are outdated, I mean.
Yeah, we need to embrace that. We need to embrace that, that our young men and women can still get their money comfortably from their homes. We need to embrace that the technology is here with us. Technology is not leaving tomorrow. We need to embrace it. And especially the parents who thinks that our young men and women are just in the house doing nothing. Not unless they are abusing the freedom. And again, but we pray that they will not abuse the freedom. They will understand the space they are in and be able to utilize it, because again, age is catching up.
I know.
They will not forever be youth. I know some of them are serving this Sunday as their last youth in the cup of the
Very
youth.
true.
So what will you say about when you are in the youth? So again, the freedom must be used in the right way. Exactly.
Maybe you can emphasize more on the issue of personal values, even as we talk on working smart,
Yeah.
because the same phones are the ones that are having some content that is really not so good. So
Yeah.
how do you strike a balance on these?
Striking a balance, because of one thing is personal awareness. As a young man and a young woman,
Who am I?
who are you? What defines you? Because again, as we talk about money and how we are going to amass wealth, we begin with asking yourself, I know about integrity. Do I have integrity myself? I know about honesty. Am I honest myself? You know, like 2 weeks ago, we had a seminar with the young men and women, and I told them, who would offer that I pick their phone randomly?
Without deleting anything.
Yes, without deleting anything. Can you, I just asked, can you just allow me today? Can I just pick your phone?
And go through your
I just
latest
told them,
news.
I'm not even going through anything.
Yeah.
I'll just open your TikTok. And we watch the videos with you. And then I ask them, what kind of videos would pop? Because it pops according to your feeds, according to what you
watch
search for,
so often.
according to what you watch.
Yes.
The same way we go to your X, what are we watching? And the same way we go, is your phone just a gadget to engage your mind and just maybe strike, you know, it is just striking your hormones and nothing else? Or is your phone being used in a manner,
right way.
in a manner that is going to benefit you? And that is where we are coming to use even our gadgets to gain something, not just to watch, not just to, you know, destroy your thinking, not just to be there. No. But also to use them as means of earning. That's where we are rotating about. So at the end of the day, your values, are you principled? Do you stand what is right for what is right? Do you guard your mind? What do you feed your brain? Is it garbage in, garbage out? Are you guarding yourself? Because even as we embrace the theme this year about the holiness and the fear of God that we are observing the whole of this week, even the fear of God and the holiness comes with what you're feeding into your brain. So whatever you choose to, and again, it's a personal decision. So your personal values lead you to where you are or where you want to go. And if they are lost, then you are eroded.
You lose it.
Exactly.
So it's a deliberate choice that you have to
Deliberate
make.
choice. Exactly. You must make it deliberately. And then again, you must seek God to give you discipline. Because again, it comes with discipline. Money requires a lot of discipline. Values require a lot of discipline. Because again, Paul speaks about the flesh and the spirit and the big tug of war that lies in between. And because young people are energetic, young people are...
Got the energy.
Yeah, they're experimental. You know, young people want to say, we did this in our young... I have tried this, I have tried it, you know, I have done all this. But you don't have to try to learn. You don't.
You can learn from others.
You can learn from others. You
Very
know,
true.
your personal values define who you are. So the question is, who are you? Do you understand who you are? And from there, you can build yourself. Yeah.
Or knowing your identity.
Knowing your identity.
Wow.
Yes.
Let's talk about setting goals, even we talk about making the money. How am I able to set financial goals as a young person? I've just started working, I'm earning my thousands, and here I am. Where do I go from there? The money has come in.
I love that question.
Yeah.
Because coming from a point of where I was employed, by the way, when I was so young.
Okay.
Immediately I finished campus, I was lucky to land on a job. And so I was telling somebody actually like a week ago that the financial decisions I made then, I wouldn't make them today, not even to the youngest of the children who do not even earn. I wouldn't make the decisions I made then. Why? Because now I am coming from a point of information and learning what it means to have goals in life. Because goals come with the vision. Because without a vision, then you don't have goals. Because it takes you to know where am I going and how am I going to get there. Because when you have a vision, goals will get you there.
Very true.
Because at some point, if you're just getting into employment just to have a status of I am employed, you know, I am earning, you know, you're young, you know, you have no responsibilities, you know, you're just using your money, you can spend 1,000 in a day on meals.
And you don't feel it.
You don't feel it. You know,
Because
you
you
don't
have a
care.
goal there is.
And at the end of the day, some money is going to be paid at the end of the month. So I'm expecting the next paycheck so that I can spend the money once again. But one thing we need to emphasize to the young men and women, and especially even to the most successful people today, they started doing goals when they were young. Financial goals are very important. So the first thing to do your goals, or rather to ensure that you have instilled the goals, is first to know, where am I going? Where do I want to be in 5 years today? Where do I want to be in 10 years? And if I know where I want to be in 5 years, if I want to have secured, let's say for example, a property. If I want to have secured a property, I will budget. I will save. I will get every coin towards the same. I will get to a space where maybe I can even lock my money because I am making sane financial decisions then. Again, don't make decisions which are not achievable. Because some goals we make, they are so unrealistic.
Very true.
That they look like a mountain to us.
So be realistic.
Be realistic as you're making your goals. Because some goals are unachievable. You want to make to achieve something that maybe you would have been achieved in like 20 years to come. And you want to do it in 5 years. Come on, be realistic.
Be realistic.
To our young men and women, you don't, even Rome was not built in a day.
Very true.
No. It took a journey, you know, it took a few steps. So making financial goals, you need to know, one, do you have a vision? Number two, is the goal realistic? Number three, you need to understand, where am I now? Because I need to make a decision with it. Where am I right now? I have been employed, I'm earning 15,000. How do I need to spend that money? You know, let me give an illustration of a video that was going around some times back. And it was illustrating millennials and the Gen Zs.
Oh, yeah.
I think I saw it. And someone sent it to me. And someone told me, how is this possible? Actually, you know, this millennial, this Gen Z was stranded wondering, how are these people paying for school fees for 5 children? They're paying rent.
And they're eating.
They're not asking for advances.
I know.
And here is the Gen Z
How is this possible?
How is it possible?
Are you able to do
How
this?
is it possible? But you know, there are people who've been brought about in knowing that in this life, you have a saving culture. Maybe probably you have a circle, you go to a circle, you can get a loan that you have measured your ability. How are you able to pay back the circle? How are you able to save? You know, the 40% rule of savings. Before you go spend in a bash and before you spend all that.
On clothes.
On clothes. You know, you're spending on clothes, by the way, and you're going to fill your wardrobe. But at the end of the day,
you don't need all that.
Do you have even some money that you can call an emergency kitty? You don't. That you need 10,000, you're calling everyone left, right, and center to look for the 10,000. Yet, you are on a pay slip. So I think goals, you need to understand, where are you? Where do I want to be? Am I being realistic in this? Will I be able to achieve these goals? The goals that I am making, are they going to get me there? You know, that is the question that the young people need to ask. And find decisions, we have so many people who can advise. The finance advisors are there. Unfortunately, some Gen Zs are being told, Ubaya wa Gen Z ni, don't tell us. Don't tell us. But you know, at the point of being told is where you get information. That is where you get to be guided. You can get somebody and tell them, this is how much, this is the much I'm earning. And I cannot be able to create a budget. Can you help me? Can you guide me? And if you get mentors, and especially mentorship, and if you stand with your mentors, you're able to make good financial goals that will help you achieve much in future.
Talking of mentorship, I think right now to get a good financial advisor, it's costly.
It is.
It's not that easy.
Yes.
That we can agree. So from where you sit as a minister, can the church do something like have classes for free where in church or young people can come you call a financial advice? I think that's the way to go, because some of these Gen Zs are not able to really afford this. So what can you do as a church to see that we are supporting our young people to make the right decisions? I know there are some churches that are trying on this, but are we doing enough?
Yeah, actually the church can, and the church is doing so. We have career Sundays. Career Sundays whereby we guide the youths in accordance to their skills, to their levels of education, personal finances management. We are having that. But my issue and my biggest tug of war here is about the turn up of the young people. When it's when it's a gig, when it's something that is hyped, they show up in numbers. I think some time back we were trying to classify the youths. They are churchgoers. They are those who are event based. They only come when there is an event, and not only an event. Whenever they feel like there is something that is pulling them, whenever we are doing like trips, they will show up. We are going to a game park, they'll show up. But how many show up when we are talking about careers? How many show up when we call them for financial advisory? How many show up? And I think that is when the youths need to identify their purpose in life.
Very true.
And with the purpose and with proper goals, you will get the right guidance. Because in our churches, we say that we are not equal in terms of our strength and financial muscle and what have you. But we still have people who've made it. And they are giving this advice for free. We have people in churches who just want to help the young people. But how many young people are ready for this? We have people who are entrepreneurs, who are ready to do this. They even tell the church, I will offer my services pro bono. But how many come? That is the question. So I think we need to understand as young people that as much as we want good life, we want lifestyle and what have you, the church has offered these platforms. Take them up. Because if you go to a bank today and ask for a finance advisor,
it's quite expensive.
You will cough.
It's quite expensive.
And you're coughing that money that you don't have. So take these opportunities, grab them as they come. Rush to them. As long as you have identified your purpose and you know your identity, and again, your values align.
Maybe it's a high time we meet them where they are. When you call them for the bonfire, let the advisor come there. I think we need to change just the strategy, because even coming to church, you hear they're saying they left church, but not God. So they're not even coming to church in the first place. So how are you going to have a conversation and they're not even in church?
Exactly.
But the same team, you call them for a night out or a hangout, they
don't
come.
Even have space.
Or a hike.
Yes.
So as they do the hike, let the advisor bring in the conversation.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes.
Yeah.
That one is very possible, by the way. It's very possible. And we can be able to merge the two. But some conversation requires time. They require concentration. They require you to ponder and think and process. To ask yourself, what did that person just say? Where am I as an individual that I can pose a question that will help me? Some conversation require a level of seriousness that, yes, we can. We can incorporate that. We can incorporate people to come and speak on finances and what have you. We can incorporate them. But at the same time, we need some level of seriousness. And I go back to understanding the purpose. If you understand your purpose as an individual, then you're able to thrive and even embrace this kind of conversations. And by the way, some of the advisors are Gen Zs.
Oh, yeah.
They're these young men and women.
They're still their peers.
They're still their peers. So they shouldn't even fear, actually. Because what youths fear is that, hey, like today there was a conversation of youth patron at 65, you know.
Hey, but your tender here is extreme. So is on the extreme.
So we are still getting them, the young people who can relate with them, people who are going through the same struggles they are going through. So what the youths need to do, embrace financial conversations. Because even them, wanahitaji hiyo ganja kwa mifuko.
Very true.
And if that money has to come, then they also need to listen to how people got there, so that at least they can be helped.
Wow. Thank you, Rev. We've, I think, less than 10 minutes. Let me see what we can do with that. Are we able to link our theme for this year and financial matters? Because someone will be like, sir, Pesa, what has it to do with the fear of God and,
Holiness, yeah.
holiness? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, we have a very beautiful thing for this year, the holiness and fear of God. And it encompasses everything, every aspect of life, even the financial aspect. And, I'm thinking about this young man, Joseph. And Joseph, how did he end up in Potiphar's home? He was sold.
Yeah.
Well, that is money. And the
Money exchange.
money exchange. He was sold.
Yeah.
And actually, that was a wrong financial decision, as we had earlier said. And this financial decision was informed by greed.
Yeah.
It was informed by selfishness. It was informed by just people, in fact, blood brothers, just
very
wanting
true.
to dispose one of them. And what did they do? By the way, we thank them, they didn't kill him. But they sold him. Again, money comes in. And I'm trying to think about the brothers and how they felt with that money in their pockets, knowing that their brother is
That
gone.
money.
And how does it feel today, at the same time when you have money acquired illegally
Wrongly.
in your pockets? How do you feel when you steal money, when you can't be trusted with money? How do you feel when you write that requisition as a youth? How do you feel when you write that requisition as a youth and you know there's your cut there and your money is going in the pocket? How do you feel at the same time? So holiness calls for integrity and honesty even in our spending. Even in whatever we are doing as young people. We cannot emulate Joseph's brothers in this point because they acquired money in a very, very, very unpopular way of selling their own brother. And that is why we are talking about of finding ways that are action-oriented towards holiness, and especially in terms of finding money in our pockets. So our theme is talking about holiness and again the fear of God.
Oh, yeah.
For you to spend money, for you to work in the spaces that you're working in. Because we have young people who will ask you, Rev, can I work in a club? Can I work in a bar?
all those questions.
Rev, can I work in this place and I am a youth? Can I and then there was a youth who was asking me if I'm working in a wines and spirits and what have you. Can I bring that money during the youth week?
Or even tithe.
And they're asking, can I bring that money? And then I'm sitting down and going back to the aspect of values and your principles.
True.
Because if you know that probably going there will make you a drunkard,
Please don't.
going there will distort your faith. So going there in the name of hustling, in the name of surviving, how will that affect your aspect as a young man? Are you fearing God? Is that reverential fear towards God? How is that painting the image of God? How is that? How is it painting the image? And so the holiness and fear of God, it touches holistically about our money, about the hustling culture. In fact, fear of God eliminates the hustling culture. Because
Very
what
true.
does the hustling culture do? It makes you so busy that God has no time.
You've no time for
You
you
have
for
no
God.
time for God. You have no time for God. That this time you have lost your values. You have no time for God because of the hustling culture. So where is the fear of God in that?
It's not there.
It is not there. It is not there at all. When you're not accountable towards your finances.
And how you acquire
Yes,
the finances.
how you acquire the finances, how you spend the finances, how the God-given resources, how do you steward them? Are you stewarding them in the way that shows the fear of God in them? And if not, then you need to rethink, rewire, and sit down and do everything to ensure that holiness is in your finances, holiness is in your spending, holiness is in your acquiring of finances, and the fear of God is paramount. It's enclosing everything. Yes.
Wow. That's profound. That's deep. You're parting short, Rev, because we need to wind this up. I know tomorrow people need to prepare for the Youth Sunday. What is your parting shot as we bring this to a close in 1 minute?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that conversation. And I will want to say that do not survive, live for God. In your finances, may you serve God in your finances. In your work, serve God in your work. And especially as we emulate Joseph and as we emulate him as the perfect example, even as our young people are doing so, may we have that reverential fear of God, that it defines who we are, our values, our endeavors, and each and every action that we are doing, may we emulate the holiness and the fear of God.
Wow. Thank you so much. Well put, well said.
Amen.
Tomorrow, Sunday,
PCEA, Rocho East,
Yeah.
Gedoya congregation. Shout out to all the youths.
Uh-huh.
We are there as we advocate and as we talk about the holiness of and the fear of God, and as we talked, run sister, run brother, run to the holiness and the fear of God.
Amen.
See you there.
Wow, that's it from us. Wishing you all a good Youth Sunday, wherever you be. It was a pleasure doing this. I've been your host, Wanjiko Kamau from